What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon
What's up? What's up?
and LeVon Maynard.
Welcome to the show.
What is going on? So welcome to another week. Please make sure you tune in Monday and Tuesday for our topics, Wednesday for our discussion. There will be no Ask Us SP this week. That's usually on Thursdays. And then Friday, we talk about everything else aside from cyber. So movies, TV, all that good stuff. So whatever media we've consumed throughout the week. So definitely continue to hit us up. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're now on 6 different podcast platforms. And then now we're on 3 video platforms. So definitely check us out. Look at our beautiful faces throughout the week. And without further ado, I give it to LeVon.
Sure thing. Today we have an article from Threat Post from this one's from Lisa Voss, and the article's title is Two-Factor Authentication Bypassed in a $34.6 million crypto.com heist, and what we can learn. So essentially, this was on early Thursday morning. Crypto.com acknowledged that they had lost $34.65 million worth of cash, Bitcoin and Ethereum, after getting ransacked and attacked that slipped fat transactions past two-factor authentication. But essentially what started out, the users had complained over the weekend that their accounts had been drained. And then crypto.com said, hey, a small number of users are reporting suspicious activity on the account, but they say that at the time they said that all funds were safe. But come to find out, I guess did some more investigation, and they actually finally acknowledged that yes, a total amount of the loss is well over $300 million, far more than was initially estimated. But all the customers had been reimbursed, so they ended up giving back a couple of customers some of the money. But I mean, the article kind of describes the situation that they acknowledged that there's a problem. They gave them the cash back, and they ended up locking down some accounts. I guess apparently, I think even one of our hosts here today has had his account affected by this, but they kind of locked them down, kind of removed some of the access with some of the previously established two-factor authentication methods, and kind of making people re-authenticate and reconfigure their authentication methods. And they're actually trying to switch from two-factor authentication to multi-factor MFA to have more methods of verifying your identity before giving access to your accounts. But the article doesn't really describe exactly what the perpetrators used to actually get into the accounts. I mean, I guess they're kind of assuming that two-factor authentication was bypassed somewhere. And the article actually describes some of the methods that people use to get around the two-factor authentication. Such simple things such as social engineering, where people are oftentimes will just get socially engineered into giving up their information, passwords, or they can even use it to socially engineer like the one-time passwords. They get you into thinking that, hey, I need you to send me the code for your account. And I know we talked about this on like another podcast, but there's people out there that will use that technique to try to socially engineer you and get the one-time password, saying that, hey, we need to get this, we need to prove that this is you. I'm actually coming from crypto.com and I need to verify you are who you say you are. So I'm going to send you the code after I try to log into your account here. Then you send them the code, and now they have access to all your data. But there's things such as like cookie session hijacking, where you can have somebody like a man in the middle basically attack that. Hey, you get a link to what looks to be a crypto.com website. You go to the link, you log in, but it's actually this malicious website that's actually receiving all your information, and it's kind of like forwarding information to the actual legit website while it's actually receiving all that data in between. So and then it also talks about duplicate code generators, which is basically similar to like using the one-time passwords, designed to trick victims into giving up those one-time passwords, which crooks can use to take over the accounts. But essentially, yeah, this is just like an interesting article because obviously crypto is a big thing nowadays, cryptocurrency and crypto mining and all this kind of stuff. So people are really trying to get that the quick buck. So using that people's kind of like, I don't know, greed or people's like excitement over the crypto market to try to get some money out of them. But I guess with that, what you guys think about this one?
Go ahead, Ryan.
So I was gonna say, I wasn't impacted as they stole my tens of dollars because I don't have that much money in there. First off, but I can't authenticate. Like I'm trying to figure out like what username or what I don't know. There's something missing. Like I'm gonna have to flip my VPN back to the States and try to log back in because it keeps denying me access to my own account because I'm not able to use any of my cookies to get back in. So it's good though. Like my account's protected, but I can't get in there to even trade if I wanted to right now. So I thought that's kind of why it piqued my interest. I was like, oh, okay. So even though I did not lose millions of dollars in this heist, I am also impacted for the better, right? What I don't understand is maybe they didn't know the ramifications or how big it had spread at first. That's why they had to walk it back. But then them reimbursing the accounts, how do they do that? Like, do they take it out of their share? Because I know these crypto sites and wallets hold a lot of shares themselves. Like, is that how they reimburse? Because they just give me cash, that's not good enough. I need the actual currency or tokens or whatever, because they could be more valued later on, right? So I don't know how that exactly works, but I thought it's pretty interesting. What about you, Shannon?
So it was weird to me. So at first I kind of wasn't picking up what they were saying here because it looked like you said, on one day they were like, no, nobody was affected. It's just some suspicious activity, right? Everybody's funds are safe. But then they were reimbursing people. So like I was like, we were talking about it offline. I was like, well, wait a minute, how is that possible that like
Right.
they how can you say both of these things? But so I'm curious whether or not they did actually know, which was, I think it was like 4 days before they reported it. I think it was on Sunday that they put the tweet out saying all funds are safe. Um, and then on Monday, the company CEO, Chris Marzalek, I think is how you say his name, he tweeted that no customer funds were lost on Monday even, right? So on two times, they were like, no, there's no issues. So I'm curious whether or not they really knew and were trying to downplay it. Because here's the thing, in the day of social media, if you're lying about it, it's going to get out, right? Because people are just going to go to, their social media account and say, nah, this is BS. I lost, my tens of dollars. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Right, exactly.
Right. Or something along those lines, right? So like it's best for you to come forward, in the beginning. But something else he said that is not necessarily, I don't want to say cybersecurity related, but I was like, man, this may not be the best thing for him to say. Um, the CEO, he downplayed the value of the lost funds, right? He said his quote was, one has to remember that given the scale of the business, these materials are not particularly material, and adding that customer funds were never at risk. So to say that they're not particularly material, are you saying they're not worth anything? They're not worth what you're reimbursing? Like, I'm trying to figure out this statement here and how this could hurt him, right? Is he pulling an Elon right now? Is he going out there and making a statement on this cryptocurrency and seeing what it'll do, whether it'll go up, down, or whatever? But I mean, it's one of those things where this is bound to happen, right? And it's not just cryptocurrency that's susceptible to this, right? Like everything we do is electronic now, right? Like we have money that's made of cotton or whatever it is, right? Or coins or whatever, but most everything is electronic nowadays, right? And if it's electronic, as we have been showing you for the last, 15 months, 14 months, however long this podcast that we've been doing, like if it's electronic, it can be got. You know what I mean? So you have to make sure you have all these things in place. And again, two-factor authentication, I mean, it's good up to a point, right? But when it comes to people's money, I mean, multi-factor is really what you want, right? I know LeVon is over here beating his chest, like, yeah, I know, I say that all the time. You know what I mean? but but no, I mean, maybe this is a lesson that needs to be learned, right? Like, don't just think that, oh, it's something fairly new, but it's something that's always talked about, right? So you got to think this is going to be a target for sure. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to any type of ransomware or hackers or anything like that, right? Because cryptocurrency is their payment, right? Well, they always
Right.
ask for. They always ask for some type of Bitcoin or some type of currency like that, right? So I don't know. Hopefully, there's a lesson learned from this, right? So anybody who's going to invest in it, this may prompt them to ask better questions about how they do their protections. Maybe.
Right. And then the last piece to it that I forgot to mention was how crypto.com is introducing the Worldwide Account Protection Program, or WAP, that can protect accounts up to $250,000. So it's kind of like it seems like FDIC, but for crypto. I remember like when we were kids, used to have the FDIC commercials, or like I guess banks didn't have it past the 80s or what have you, where they protect your account up to a certain threshold. So they're trying to generate that as well. But you have to have like, it doesn't explain like how you enroll or how much funds you have to have or anything like that. So
And it's
more to
controlled
come,
by
I guess.
it's controlled by Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, right?
Yeah, I was like, is that WAP? No, I was like, this is WAP. It's two P's.
Good catch.
Not to get the two confused, but thank you for tuning in this week. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, LeVon. Please excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather, so you're going to deal with it for us this week. But next week I should be good. Make sure you continue to tune in. Monday and Tuesday are topics. Wednesday, we have a pretty good discussion coming up. Thursdays are usually Ask Us SP, but the way my voice is set up right now, I'm not asking no questions. And then Friday, we talk about everything else that's non-cybersecurity related. So definitely tune in. Hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, to get to all our social medias. Get me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy on LinkedIn, Twitter, Clubhouse, and Instagram. I forget one of them, but on all the social medias, RyRy Security Guy. And you, LeVon?
Hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.